Most people imagine emotional intelligence as something polished, a calm voice, a measured sentence, a person who always seems in control. But that is the surface. Because the real test is rarely what a person says when life is quiet. The real test is what they do in the 2 seconds after they feel disrespected. After the message lands, after the tone changes, after the room goes cold, after their pride gets touched. That is where emotional intelligence stops being a concept and becomes behavior. Nathan did not think of himself as reactive. He had a job. He paid his bills. He kept his life moving. From the outside, he looked fine. But if you watch closely, you would have noticed how often his day changed because of one feeling. One email, one delayed reply, one awkward look, one sentence said the wrong way. And each time his inner state took the wheel. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to change his words, his posture, his judgment, and the energy he carried into the next hour. Most people do not lose control all at once. They lose it in fragments. In the speed of a reply, in the need to prove a point, in a face that tightens before the mouth opens, in the habit of taking everything personally. And over time, those fragments build a life that feels heavier than it should. Emotionally intelligent people are not people who never feel anger, envy, embarrassment, or disappointment. They feel all of it. They just learn what never deserves their automatic obedience. That is what this video is about. Not what emotionally intelligent people say, not how they look, what they never do. The first thing emotionally intelligent people never do is let the first feeling make the first decision. Nathan learned this in small meeting rooms before he learned it anywhere else. A manager would question something. A colleague would challenge an idea. Someone would ask, with perfectly ordinary words, why he handled a task a certain way. And before the conversation had even ended, he would already be defending himself inside. Not listening, preparing. His body would arrive at the emotion first. A tightening in the chest. A heat behind the face. A silent sentence. They think I'm wrong. And once that sentence landed, everything after it started bending around self-protection. That is how a lot of bad decisions begin. Not with logic. With an unexamined feeling that disguises itself as urgent truth. Emotionally intelligent people understand something simple. The first feeling is information. It is not instruction. You can feel annoyed without speaking sharply. You can feel embarrassed without lying. You can feel threatened without becoming defensive. You can feel hurt without trying to hurt back. That gap between emotion and action is where maturity lives. Most people think self-control means suppressing emotion. It does not. It means delaying obedience. It means noticing what rises in you without immediately making the room pay for it. Nathan began to see that half the tension in his life was not caused by what happened. It was caused by how quickly he treated a feeling like a command. He thought reacting fast made him honest. Sometimes it only made him careless. Because honesty without regulation is often just impulse with a better name. So he changed one thing first. Not the people, not the workplace, not the pressure, the space between the trigger and the response. A breath, a slower sentence, a longer pause before pressing send. It looked small from the outside, but that pause began saving him from versions of himself that only appeared when emotion moved faster than thought. And once he learned that, he understood the first rule. Emotionally intelligent people never give the first emotion final authority. The second thing emotionally intelligent people never do is turn every disagreement into a fight for identity. A lot of people do not argue about the issue. They argue because being challenged feels like being diminished. So the conversation stops being about facts and starts being about ego. Who sounds smarter? Who gets the last word? Who looks weaker if they let the point go? Nathan used to do this more than he realized, not in shouting matches, in subtler ways. Correcting too much, explaining too long, pushing one sentence further than it needed to go. He said he was just making things clear. Sometimes he was, but sometimes he was trying to recover the feeling of being in control. That is different. Emotionally intelligent people know that disagreement does not automatically mean disrespect. Someone can misunderstand you without insulting you. Someone can prefer a different way without rejecting your worth. Someone can be wrong without requiring a full emotional campaign against them. This matters because the need to win changes the atmosphere around you. People stop feeling that they can speak freely. They begin choosing their words too carefully around you. Not out of respect, out of fatigue. And that is a hidden cost many people never notice. They think they are protecting authority. They are actually making connection expensive. The emotionally intelligent person does not rush to dominate the room. They ask, what actually matters here? Do I need understanding or victory? Do I need clarity or applause? Do I need to solve this or simply make sure I do not feel small? Those are not the same goal. And a surprising number of conversations go bad because no one stops to separate them. The day Nathan understood this properly, nothing dramatic happened. A friend said something dismissive, not cruel, just careless. He felt the familiar urge to answer quickly, to sharpen the exchange, to make the other person feel exactly what he had felt. But for once, he did not follow the urge. He let the silence stay. Not because he had no point, because he finally saw that not every conversation deserves escalation, that some people do not need defeat, they need distance, and some moments do not need brilliance. They need restraint. If this is resonating so far, subscribe. Not for louder motivation, but for the kind that helps you move through pressure with more clarity, more composure, and less self-sabotage. Because a lot of growth begins the moment you stop confusing reaction with strength. The third thing emotionally intelligent people never do is make every feeling everybody else's burden. There is a difference between being honest and emotionally leaking. One builds trust, the other drains it. Nathan began noticing this in ordinary spaces. The staff kitchen, the walk back from a meeting, the call after work, the message sent too late at night. He would say he was just venting, but what he was often doing was handing unprocessed emotion to whoever happened to be nearby. His stress became their atmosphere. His frustration became their assignment. His disappointment became the tone of the whole interaction. That is what emotionally immature people often do without noticing. They feel something strongly, so they assume expression alone is enough to justify the transfer. But emotionally intelligent people understand that not every feeling is ready to be shared the moment it appears. Some feelings need to be named privately first. Some need to cool down. Some need context before they are spoken, and some do not need an audience at all. This does not mean bottling things up. It means carrying them responsibly. It means asking, am I sharing this to be understood? Or am I spreading it because I do not want to hold it alone? Those are different acts. One invites connection, the other recruits emotional labor. And people feel that difference even when they cannot explain it. That is why some people leave conversations with you feeling closer, while others leave feeling used. Emotionally intelligent people do not dump first and think later. They process enough to speak with weight instead of spill with urgency. Nathan started replacing reaction with reflection. Not because journaling is magical, not because silence solves everything, but because he noticed how many things became clearer once they passed through thought before they passed through speech. Some feelings were real but temporary. Some were valid but exaggerated. Some were pointing to an actual problem. Others were just evidence that he was tired, proud, or overstimulated. That is another mark of emotional intelligence. Not the ability to feel less, the ability to sort what you feel before you distribute it. The fourth thing emotionally intelligent people never do is personalize every piece of feedback. This one is difficult because pride does not always sound arrogant. Sometimes it sounds wounded. Sometimes it sounds like, why are they coming at me? Why are they always noticing what I miss? Why wasn't what I did enough? Nathan used to read feedback as if it were biography. If someone corrected a detail, he heard, "You are not good enough." If someone asked for a change, he heard, "You are disappointing." If someone was brief, he heard, "You are not respected." So instead of receiving information, he received threat. And once that happened, improvement became harder, because you cannot learn well from something you are busy taking personally. Emotionally intelligent people understand that feedback and identity are not the same thing. A weak presentation is not a weak person. A missed detail is not proof of low worth. A correction is not humiliation. And someone else's tone does not always define the value of what is being said. This matters because the person who personalizes everything becomes difficult to help. They need reassurance before they can receive instruction. They need emotional cushioning before they can hear a simple point. And slowly, the world starts giving them less truth because truth around them costs too much. That is dangerous because comfort can protect the ego while quietly starving growth. Nathan began practicing a different question. Not, why did they say it like that? But what can I use here? Not, how do I protect my image? But what would improve if I stopped defending it? That shift changed him, because once feedback stopped feeling like an attack on his identity, it started becoming material. Something to apply, something to test, something to refine. And from the outside, people began describing him differently, more solid, more coachable, less tense. Not because criticism stopped hurting, because hurt was no longer allowed to shut the lesson down. The fifth thing emotionally intelligent people never do is stay in dynamics where calm boundaries are repeatedly punished. This is where many people get confused. They think emotional intelligence means endless patience, infinite softness, permanent understanding. But maturity does not mean you keep standing still while people keep crossing the same line. Nathan had a habit that looked kind from the outside. He stayed too long, in draining conversations, in one-sided friendships, in rooms where sarcasm passed as honesty, in exchanges where his calm was treated like permission to keep taking more. He told himself he was being patient. Sometimes he was just avoiding the discomfort of drawing a clear boundary. Emotionally intelligent people do not enjoy conflict, but they also do not worship peace so much that they abandon self-respect. They understand that boundaries are not aggression, distance is not cruelty, and leaving is not always immaturity. Sometimes it is the most regulated thing a person can do, because not every situation can be healed by better wording. Not every person becomes safe because you stay composed. Some people read kindness as accessibility, some read accessibility as weakness, and some only respect a line once they realize you are willing to keep it. Nathan learned this slowly, first by feeling drained after certain people, then by noticing how often he left conversations less like himself, then by finally admitting that not every repeated disturbance is a communication problem. Sometimes it is a pattern, and once a pattern is clear, staying without change does not make you emotionally intelligent. It makes you available. The emotionally intelligent person does not threaten, perform, or explode. They clarify, they limit, they step back, and when needed, they walk away without needing the other person to agree with the decision. That kind of calm is not weakness. It is trained self-respect. So what do emotionally intelligent people never do? They never let the first feeling run the whole moment. They never need to win every disagreement. They never make every emotion somebody else's burden. They never treat all feedback like a verdict on their worth. And they never remain where healthy boundaries are consistently punished. None of this is loud. That is the point. Emotional intelligence rarely announces itself. It appears in the pause nobody notices, in the sentence that never gets sent, in the argument that never becomes a spectacle, in the feeling that gets processed before it gets projected, in the door a person quietly closes when staying open would cost too much. Nathan did not become a different man overnight. He simply became less available to his worst impulses. And because of that, other people began experiencing a steadier version of him. Not perfect, not emotionless, just harder to pull out of himself. That is what emotional intelligence looks like in real life. Not polished language, not borrowed wisdom, behavior under pressure. And if you can learn what never deserves your automatic reaction, you begin to carry yourself with a kind of stability that changes everything around you. Let the ideas compound.